Welcome to a brand new segment that we're going to have on this channel whenever we have enough content for it. And this segment I'm going to be calling The Amazing Stories in the Verse. With the freedom of choice that we have in Star Citizen, it leaves it wide open for emergent gameplay. I have loads of stories myself that I could tell, situations that I was in that I barely got out of, and some that I didn't. So in this new show, Amazing Stories in the Verse stars you, where I want you to tell everybody about your amazing stories in the verse, and share these videos around to show others how emergent this game can be. So come on the show every Friday and tell me about an amazing story that you've had in the verse, and I will take those stories and later add them into a segment to be uploaded completely by itself. You could send these you could upload your story to a YouTube video and then tag me in it, and I could get it that way. Or you can call into the show and tell me that way, or send me an audio file through the email that's linked into my YouTube account, or tweet it at me, or send it to me on Facebook. All those details are down below. Thank you, and enjoy this first episode of Amazing Stories and the Verse. One of my favorite, man, I've got a good handful of them, but you guys probably seen the one that I highlighted, where I was spending too much time at this some mining facility when I was doing a mission, and a Cutlass Black landed, and I'm still not sure if he blew up my ship or if the other guys did. But all of a sudden, my ship just blew up, and I turn around and I look, and there's a Cutlass Black landing, and I'm like, oh God, don't shoot me. I'm new. I'm like a month old, 2 months old into the game, and then all of a sudden, as I'm staring at his ship and wondering what he's gonna do, his ship completely blows up, and then these two Banu defenders come flying overhead, and then they go up to the sky, they come back down, and they start patrolling the area because they know that there's two ships there. I'm on foot, so they don't know where I'm at. And I hurry up, and I decide I'm gonna run. I gotta get out of here. And my dummy butt hides underneath of a lamppost that is brightly lit. Because I'm not thinking to myself, wait, they could see me because of the light. I was just trying to take cover. But luckily they didn't see me, and they kept patrolling the area because they just knew that there was somebody else there. And so they searched for about another 5 more minutes, and then they left. And then I went over to get into my ship, or to look at my destroyed ship, and I realized that I could open up the door. But I had to jump in order just to get the door open, and so I get inside the ship, and I find out that it's still flyable, but it shouldn't be. The bottom thrusters, or dampeners, or whatever the bottom thrusters that keep it level, are completely gone, and the only thing that I had was my back thruster. So I was able to point it straight up and get off of the moon that I was on. So I decide, okay, here's a smart idea. Let me go to ArcCorp and land and get repaired. And I'm like, if I could pull that off, that's going to be amazing. So I get into ArcCorp, and I realize real quick that my ship cannot stay up. It's actually falling, but I'm shooting myself forward with my back thruster, but my ship is just completely falling. It's got no wings, no bottom thrusters, no nothing. So I'm like, I can't do this. I can't land. So I tilt my ship straight back up to the stars. I go back out into space, and then something happened to my ship, and it just would not stop. It was going full throttle through space. Nothing would stop it. I couldn't turn off the engines. And so somebody in the chat, this was I think live, somebody in the chat named DevWolf was like, I'll come save you. So he gets in an 890 jump, and he's like telling me, you got to slow down. I can't catch up with you. I'm like, I can't slow down. So I open up the side door, and I jump out into space, and then I wait out there, and he comes and rescues me. I go inside, and it was just one of the coolest things that has ever happened to me in a video game since I started playing games on the Atari 2600 back when I was a kid. Nothing like that has ever happened to me in a game. That's my story.
There was a guy in a Constellation Andromeda outside of Grimhex. I had just spawned my ship, and when I came out the door to get in, I watched it blow up, and then I saw everyone else's ship blow up, and I realized it was a guy in a Connie just outside the what do you call the zone? Armistice, right? So he was just popping like in and out of the Armistice zone. He'd come in, target, back up until he could fire, and then blow up every ship on the pad.
Jeez.
So I EVA'd up to him. I kind of snuck up behind him, got myself right over the cockpit, so I was like looking down at his pilot seat, and I pulled out my handheld railgun. I was hoping to get inside the shield bubble and take him out. And he saw me, and he pulled up. So basically, he kind of smacked me with the top of his cockpit, and I wound up inside the cockpit. So I was kind of bruised up, but I used a med pen. I'm good. Now I'm waiting for him to back up again so that I can pull out my gun and take him out. But he knew I was there. But he was stuck at that point, right? So he's calling his friends, trying to get some people to come in, board his ship so they could take me out. I put myself in position in the back room where the little snub-nosed fighter is, and he realized I kind of had the upper hand in that situation. All he could do was suicide.
Wow.
Yep.
One of the greatest things about it was there were so many people trying to leave Grimhex that were pissed at him. I became like a folk hero of the server for a couple minutes,
I have one similar to it that just happened about a week or two ago. Flying my cat fully full, and I was going to go on a sale trip, go sell my stuff at somewhere, I don't know where. And I heard about a pad rammer on Port Olisar who said, literally in chat, Port Olisar is shut down, no one gets off. So I went over there with the cat, and he's in an 890 jump, slamming into every single ship and laughing his head off.
Oh.
So I would start waiting right next to him after he and I did a dance of him trying to hit me, and he couldn't. I'd sit there and wait for him, and when he starts moving downwards to hit somebody else's ship, I just slammed my ship into him. And over time, people started being able to get off, and he's getting pissed off because I won't let him pad ram the things.
Right.
Finally, enough damage, and I lost my ship. I lost all my cargo. I died. So did he. Both our ships blew up.
Wow.
So once after refueling, I find a player who's talking a bunch of trash in the chat, being just a super toxic guy. So I'm like, I'm just going to go hunt this guy down, just make myself laugh. So I hunt him down to a cave on that one desert planet, Daymar, right? So I go to Daymar, I go into a cave. He has a Connie sitting outside with two players in there, like his little ship guards or whatever. So I just straight up blow up the Connie. His friends alert him that he's being attacked. He gets worried. He starts running down deeper in the cave, but I guess he forgot that I can track him down the cave. So I just start following him until he reaches the end. He starts asking me to, he said he'll pay me way more than the bounty is if he just lets me keep mining, if he lets himself keep mining, because he had a bunch of ores mined, but I'm like, no, this guy is a total toxic player. He needs to learn a lesson or two, so I take him out. And then he puts a 250k bounty on my head.
Wow.
So then a whole server just starts flying after me, but I don't have an actual bounty on my head because, those aren't real things. So I just start flying around. People try to catch me at Port Olisar. But then after like 2 hours, they just kind of gave up. And the guy left the game because he realized he lost.
Some of the stories that came out with regards to Jumptown, it's too bad, Cobra, you weren't around back then, because Jumptown was just... So Jumptown was the only place that you could buy drugs back in the day. It was back in like 3.4, 3.5. And it was a hot spot because everybody was going to this one spot to buy their drugs so that they could sell them. And and you would have people turning up who were trying to blow up everybody. You had orgs, like for example, our org would go in and try and like neutralize all the pirates and like keep it so that Jumptown was safe for everybody. There was like full-scale PvP battles going on over Jumptown.
Yeah, it was not unheard of for a fully accrued hammerhead to just be patrolling that area.
Yeah. Actually, normally the hammerhead patrolling was normally Central. That was us. But yeah, I was going to say we used to turn up with 1, 2, 3 hammerheads. We had 3 hammerheads at some point, just patrolling Jumptown, just to make sure everybody could get in and out and defending the pirates. And some of the things that happened back in those days was really amazing. Yeah, they ruined it by bringing in a whole bunch of spots, and also by going through and also making it so you can only sell so much now. It's sort of ruined the drug economy, so not many people are fighting over Jumptown or anything anymore.
Honestly, I feel like they kind of fixed it, because at least now there's not one location that people could just camp.
Awesome. Anybody else got any cool stories to tell?
I actually have one. This was actually the same night that you were flying by yourself, and you first met, I think, who's that dude with the Cartu Owl? Whatever that alien.
The lag bore.
Oh, the lag bore.
Yeah, the log bore, where you were like making the jump. So I was watching your stream, but at the same time I was at Port Hollister, and somebody stole someone else's 890 jump, and he was just pad ramming, and a whole bunch. Actually, it was posted on Reddit. Let me find it really quick. But
Be right back.
yeah, this dude, he was just pad ramming, and everyone else tried to like ram him to blow him up, but the shields on the 890 was just too strong, so all these smaller ships just couldn't do anything about it. But eventually, these 2 other dudes got their 890, and then they just like all just ganged up on him, just constantly ramming him until he died, and then everyone in the server just had a party on these 2 890.
Oh, wow.
It was a pretty wholesome ending.
That is awesome.
I had a pretty good time engaging in guerrilla warfare around Jumptown, where I landed there in the middle of the night with a sniper rifle and a railgun, and I would just crawl between all the rocks on the cliffside and snipe at people. I couldn't hit anybody because they were all just like, they were just jumping around on me from the distance, but I had so many ships passing over with their spotlights trying to find me in these rocks, like randomly shooting, and I just spent the whole night dodging people and firing off pot shots. It was like the most fun I've had.
So that was you.
Tell us the story, Erebus.
Yeah, so before I used to be in the Aussie time zone, or the Asian time zone. I was in college back then, and this was around, how many years was this? A year ago? Yeah, basically a year ago. And I was making friends with some orgs from Aussie orgs. I think Gamers Cafe, you might know some of them. NFI, New Frontier Initiative.
Yep.
They invited me to one of their org events, so I offered my services to escort a hammerhead and caterpillar to Jumptown. This is when Jumptown was immensely popular. Apparently they're doing a joint ops with another org called Intro. Things turned really sour after some people in Intro decided to grief a member from NFI in their caterpillar. Basically, the caterpillar, if you go in the bottom floor, there on the back there's an engineer station. One Intro person decided to get onto that engineer station and turn off the engines every time the NFI member tried to jump caterpillar to Quantum, and he didn't know there was someone in the engineer station until someone walked up into the engineer station and saw the person. The culprits are taken care of. However, just a few minutes later, an org war was initiated very shortly after, when a guy, I'm pretty sure if you've been playing Star Citizen long enough, know the name Heavy Bob. And some other intro members convinced their org leader the NFI had started the griefing first. So at this point, the NFI members and other people were trying to regroup, group our forces and try to fight off Intro. But for some reason, Intro was able to find us anywhere we jumped to. Like we point our set route to a place, jump into Quantum and stop Quantum mid-flight. But somehow they would find us, and just suddenly people started dying inside our Hammerhead. I was on the outside of the Hammerhead flying a Hornet, flying escort, but on the comms people were getting shot inside their Hammerhead. Apparently someone from the intro, a player from the intro org had hijacked the Hammerhead and was like running around killing NFI members left and right. They did take care of the two people who were inside the Hammerhead, and one of the NFI members who died was scouting out Jumptown and saw that Intro had spawned 3 Hammerheads and were setting them up to fight to set it up so that they would use all these Hammerheads to fight against us. And what he did was sneak up on all 3 Hammerheads and self-destruct all 3. It was amazing.
That is awesome.
Completely mission impossible. He just did it by himself. It was crazy. Before that happened, all odds were really against us, and it was just really happy to see someone like infiltrate these 3 Hammerheads and blow them up. And then we somehow gathered our forces, but the minute we did, and the intro guys found our spot, and they came in with 2 Hammerheads. One was completely manned, and the other was not. And the one that was not, they tried to ram our Hammerhead. We managed to kill the Hammerhead that was manned. The other Hammerhead unfortunately rammed us at the end and blew our Hammerhead, but at the end we killed all their members during that battle, and that was pretty much it, and we won. I even have a video of this. It's like 5 minutes. It's about a little bit edited. I'll just put it in Star Citizen Lounge.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I want to see that. So tell me your most exciting story in Star Citizen. Your most exciting story in the verse.
The most exciting story in the verse. Okay, there was one time when I took over the Anvil Hammerhead. Aegis Hammerhead. The Hammerhead.
Right.
It was full of people. It was like 7 people on board.
Oh wow!
I was just curious. It was the first time I've seen the Hammerhead, and I was like, I'm curious. I sneaked on board, and I was just hanging around, like exploring the ship. And then one of these guys started shooting at me, and I was like, okay, boy, if you want to do these things this way, we can do things this way. And I killed him, and then one of his friends, then another one of his friends, then another one, and I took the ship over.
Wow! That is awesome.
And I had a pretty good time flying around with this.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
And what's yours? The story you told me, like about the freelancer?
I just loaded it up full of cargo, and as you know, I'm new, right? So I landed at Port Olisar, and I went to go open up my back hatch, my back bay door to get out, and I didn't park right, so therefore I fell off into space, right? So I go to get on the landing pad. I trip and I fall flat on my face. And then I see the turrets, they're shooting this ship, and I'm looking up at this war going on up in space. And all of a sudden, my ship behind me lifts up and starts to go away. And I got real mad. Yeah, I got real mad, and I'm like, oh man, they stole my ship. So I decided to EVA, because they went out a little ways. They went out about 2,000 meters away. And they stopped. And I guess they were trying to plot their course, trying to figure out where they're going to sell my cargo. So I went ahead and EVA'd out there, went in through the back, and then I couldn't kill them because we were still in the armistice zone. So he was just getting ready. I was standing right behind him, and they went ahead and went into quantum travel. And as soon as they came out of quantum travel, I shot the one guy in the driver's seat, and I didn't realize there was another one in the passenger seat. So I look over, and he's just sitting there, and I pull my gun out, I reload it, and I just blow his head off.
Wow. Okay, let's give you a tour on a 6. Yeah, a 6.
Okay.